All right, today we're going to go over the StartX remote starter system for the 2016 to 2018 Tacoma and show you how to install. So first, when you open up the box, you're going to notice you have an installation guide. I'm going to show you your harness here and the wiring to the module. You'll have the Fortin harness for the Toyota, the remote starter module, and some various wire ties. All right, so for the connections on the Fortin harness here that go to the Toyota vehicle, we'll go through some of them. We have a white connector labeled A, a black connector here, a white connector labeled B, and then some smaller connectors over here that go to the Fortin module. We have a white connector, a red connector, a smaller white, and then a black connector here. And we'll go over how to install all of these. All right, now for prepping the harness for the vehicle, the two main connections to the vehicle that we are interested in that show in the first page of the installation manual here is the white connector labeled B and the black connector on this side. So what I did here is I wrapped up the white A connector and some of the old loose wires here and put one of the included zip ties from the box around to hold most of that wiring together so that we only have B and the black out on this side. And then on this side, we have all the small connections that go to the Fortin. I just went ahead and organized everything so we have the harness that's ready to go inside the vehicle now. And this small black connection here is unused. You can put it back in the box, not needed. And now we'll go ahead to taking apart the vehicle and installing it in the truck. We'll go over the tools here. I have a 10mm socket and a Phillips head number 2 screwdriver. Step 1 is going to be to remove the steering column cover here. And that's held and secured by 2 Phillips head screws that are behind the steering. All right, for step 1, go ahead and start the truck. Go ahead and rotate the steering wheel 90 degrees to the left and you'll expose that first Phillips head screwdriver. Go ahead and remove that screw, You'll go ahead and rotate the wheel back through center 90 degrees to the right and you'll see exposing that other Phillips head screw over here. Remove that screw. This will loosen the steering trim. You'll notice it just pops apart. Top cover you can leave, and we'll go ahead and remove the bottom cover in step 2. All right, for step 2, we're gonna go ahead and remove this kick panel. This is just pushed in here. You can go ahead and pull up gently, unclip it from the car, set it off to the side here. For this front kick panel, you're gonna go ahead and remove the single screw up towards the front of the truck here, and then this piece will just slide out as well. You can set that off to the side. For removing this panel, we have one 10mm bolt here, followed by the 2 Phillips head screws here and here below the leg airbag. You remove all 3 of them, bottom screws, and start to pull the panel out. All right, so now with the bottom 3 bolts out, we're gonna go ahead and remove the bottom panel. It'll start to pull away around this bottom airbag. Pull away from the sides here. You just want to gently work all the clips out around the steering wheel. Slowly. So now, you got this panel laying down here. You have some wiring for this panel as well as the hood release latch. Go ahead and just gently rest this panel. You don't need to remove any of these connections. Just let this panel dangle. So now we'll begin the install of the truck. You'll take the end of the Fortin harness that has the connector that was labeled B, as well as the black connector, and you'll go ahead and pass them behind this panel here. Let them rest for a second. Take the white connector that was labeled B. You want to go ahead and bring it up here to these computers over here, these ECUs, and you're going to see this black ECU with 2 connections here. This top connection here is a little clip on the left side. Grab it, pull out this connection, remove it, and you're going to notice that that white B connection from Fortin has 2 sides. One side that plugs into the OEM harness, like so, and then the Fortin harness plugs back into that computer module. So you're basically plugging in between the car and the computer here. So that's your first connection. All right, now for the second connection, you're gonna go ahead and take this black connector and pass it over the airbag here. You're gonna follow the steering column wiring here. You can tuck it in right there, and you'll see a black connector here on the bottom for the key sense. Go ahead and remove that black connector. Do the same thing as you did before. Plug it into the Fortin harness and plug the Fortin harness back into the truck. Make sure everything is clicked in and tuck your wiring away. And those are all the connections to the vehicle complete. All right, go ahead, and now we'll go into reassembling the truck. Go ahead and pop this panel back in. Make sure you gently push around that SRS airbag here. Make sure everything pops and locks in nice. Then go ahead and screw in the 2 Phillips head screws, followed by the 10mm. So next we'll pop on the steering cover trim. Go ahead and slide it back down the steering column and around the steering wheel, like so. And then go ahead and pop it in, lock it with the top piece, and do the same process in reverse. You'll have to start the truck up and go ahead and rotate the wheel left and right to put the Phillips head screws back. All right, now that the harness has been installed to the vehicle, we'll go ahead and go over plugging in and programming the Fortin module to start the car. First, you're gonna notice that there is a button on this side. This is the programming button. You're gonna go ahead and press and hold that button in while you make your first power connection here, and that's gonna put the Fortin module in programming mode. So you're gonna go ahead and hold that button in. You're gonna go ahead and connect the power to it. It's gonna light up blue, and when it does, you're gonna release your finger. You want just a blue light. There are 3 or 4 different modes in there. It's gonna go through in a wheel. If you miss that blue light, just wait until it's just blue, and then release your finger. So now you're gonna go ahead, just the blue light lit. You're gonna make the rest of the connections with the Fortin. We have the larger white connector here that goes next to the black connector. Plug that in. And on the opposite side of the Fortin, we have 2 more connections. Smaller white connection over here, as well as a red connection. You're gonna plug all those in. Make sure all connections, all 4 of them are solid on the Fortin module, and the light is blue. And you're gonna go ahead and turn the ignition on for the car. That's 2 presses. 1, 2. You'll see the light go off on the Fortin module. And when that light blinks fast like that, your programming is complete. Then you can go ahead and turn the ignition back off with 1 more press. And programming of the Fortin module is complete. All right, for the final step here, now that the Fortin is programmed and working for the vehicle, we'll go ahead and tuck it up out of the way. What I do here is just put everything up onto the left side. You'll notice an ECU and a bunch of wiring up on this left side back over here to the panel. So I go ahead and push it up on that left side, tuck it behind that wiring up on the left side, and it just disappears right out of the way, and it's complete. To test the remote starter system, go ahead and grab your remote, press the lock button 3 times. Notice the truck lock, the ignition turn on, and it will start. And to go ahead and complete the process and turn the truck off, go ahead and repeat the same sequence and press the lock button 3 times.